Democrat voters are beginning to lose faith. While Congress has an overall 29% approval rating, that number drops to 5% for Democrats. And it's because Democrats are doing nothing for the American people. Joining me now, Matt Towery, political analyst, and Mark Penn, former Clinton advisor. Both are pollsters. Mark, let's start with you. Let's start with the Democrats first. Why are they failing to connect with the American people a month into this administration?
Well, I've got some new polling coming out Monday that I've just looked at, and frankly, the Democratic Party is falling off a cliff. The ratings, which were in the high 40s, are going to be like 35%. And I think the basic question, who's doing better job as president, Biden or Trump? Trump is winning that with 57%. I think you're seeing a retrospective assessment of Biden and the direction the Democratic Party was going. It really a lot more negative than it was on Election Day. And they're looking at the contrast on immigration, on economic policy, on some of the social policies. And boy, they're reevaluating. In the Democratic Party, I have never seen anything like this. This is a record low for the Democratic Party in terms of favorability. It has fallen really, really way down. And I don't think there's any leadership right now that's going to be able to bring that back.
We are getting more and more great news as the Democrats continue to fall apart. They have officially lost the trust of the American people. And as you can see on the screen over here, according to the latest Harvard-Harris poll, Donald Trump has a 52% approval rating. Now, this is something interesting because over the last couple of days, I've actually been seeing these random polls pop up showing with Donald Trump like a 45%, 46%, 48% approval rating, right? Showing he's underwater. And I'm like, it seems like they're really trying to spin the narrative at this point because they have nothing else. And now some leftist media sources are trying to tout some supposed Republican voters as turning against Donald Trump. But I want you to ask yourself the simple question. Who do you know in your life that voted for Trump is now having voters remorse, right? And the answer is nobody, right? I know a whole bunch of Trump voters. I interact with them daily, and no one is unhappy with anything Donald Trump is doing. Okay, so that, of course, is now on the left. As I mentioned, they're trying to turn this. They're trying to spin the narrative. They're trying to make the public believe, by and large, that, hey, Donald Trump actually is not popular. The people don't approve of what he's doing. When, as a matter of fact, yes, clear as day, Harvard-Harris leftist polling agrees that, yes, Donald Trump is at 52% approval. Okay, so that's basically just the state we're in. But the left, they will never understand this, including Charlamagne Tha God over on the Brilliant Idiots podcast. But before we get to these clips, don't forget to like and comment on this video so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
Why is this person dictating why I have a job, why I don't have a job?
Because Americans are disillusioned with rich and powerful people. So if you do not call out the rich and powerful people, not just Elon, these other people as well, if you're not willing to call them out, we're not willing to listen. The perception at least is like, I don't know, I think people should be a little bit concerned about this a little bit. Like if you have a company, right, or you have a private investigation or whatever it is, whatever you want to call DOGE, a federal investigation, into corruption in these government agencies. The American people right now, all-time low confidence in government institutions, right? We know that for a fact. We do not trust politicians. We don't trust government institutions at all. All-time low confidence. When you got a guy coming in going, yo, I'm gonna start vetting these government institutions to see if there's some corruption, if they're hiding some money.
But who's vetting this guy?
Hold on. Let me just get it all out. You might be logical here. I'm just telling you, like, emotionally how people are reacting. I don't trust the government. I feel like they're trying to me. Eggs cost $50. This guy's coming in and going, I'm going to look into this shit because I think there's a lot of corruption, there's a lot of waste, and people are getting rich on the side on your money. The second he says he's going to do that, you have this immediate, massive blowback on this guy, right? To me, if you also felt like the government has some inefficiencies and the government has low confidence and the government has this bureaucracy that might be getting in the way of the American people getting what they want, if you're a Democrat as well, you should go, yeah, we should look into that. We should expose any corruption, Republican or Democrat.
It sounds good on his face. But
I'll just say real quick.
Okay.
If just looking into something, there's pushback, you hiding something. That's what I'd like. Like, for example, if the police show up to the house,
I don't think it's pushback, though.
Let me just.
No, there is pushback.
There's crazy pushback.
No, it's not pushback.
Hold on.
No,
Let me just get it out. If the police show up to the house and they're like, we'd like to go in your basement, and the guy's like, why do you want to go into, what, you can't go into my basement. No, we have a, whatever that thing is called, to look into your basement. You can't go to, as a policeman, I'm going, there's some shit in that motherfucking basement. if you are fighting,
Or you just know your rights and you know that
no,
you
but
can't
I
search
got
my
the
house
thing.
without a warrant.
I got the
You
warrant. I got a warrant. But
Well, you got a
still-
warrant. They don't got to ask.
Well, he got a warrant.
Yeah, but my thing
Those
is,
got a warrant.
no, they don't.
They have the right to do it.
Who says who?
The president.
And that's why he got sued. They literally sued. 14 attorney generals around the country literally sued the president, saying this is not constitutional.
That's true.
It's unethical.
Charlamagne.
You don't have the right to do this.
Why can't we look into the government institutions to see if there's waste and corruption?
Once again,
Why is that like? Why,
so-
you
so-
should
so-
support
so-
this.
so-
It's
so-
you're
so-
paying more taxes
no, no.
than anybody
What-
in this
what-
room.
what-
You should
what-
want to make sure that money
what
isn't going to some guy's pocket.
What Schulz is saying is true, but it's not the how. I mean, it's not the why. No, it's not the what. It's the how. Nobody cares that yes, if there's waste, if there's government corruption, get an organization to go look into it. But how is it being done? How does this guy, who's not an elected official, who's not even from this motherfucking country, why does this guy have the authority? Who vetted him?
So some great points brought up there by Andrew Schulz, right? People don't trust the government right now because it's being revealed what they've been doing. They've been stealing our money, wasting it, pissing it away, and lining their own pockets, allegedly, in the process, right? And as he's also pointing out, if you're fighting against this right now, what are you trying to hide? Why don't you want the American people to know exactly where every single one of our tax dollars is going? And why in the world don't you want people cutting off the bad, wasteful spending, okay? But Charlamagne, he gives all of the standard Democrat leftist defenses, right? No one elected Elon Musk. Yeah, he basically campaigned with Donald Trump, and Donald Trump was in advance saying, we're going to start this Department of Government Efficiency, put Elon Musk in charge of looking into everything, looking into government waste and cutting it off, all right? He actually ran on that. So yeah, people in a roundabout way did vote for Elon Musk. And of course, secondly, he's saying, it's not really, the fact that it's being done, it's how it's being done, right? The Democrats would have done it better, despite the fact they've been in power for the last 2 years and didn't do a dang thing to curb any of this crazy, wasteful spending that we're finding out about, all right? And then the last thing, the president doesn't have the authority, right? The leader of the executive branch doesn't have the authority to look into what the executive branch is doing in terms of spending, all right? If the president doesn't have that authority by law, constitutionally, then what's the point of having a president at all, right? And these are just the standard meltdown tactics that we're seeing from the Democrats, right? Since they can't defend their position, they will go ahead and go on the offensive, which honestly isn't a bad tactic, but as we just saw in the polling, it's not paying off because all it looks like is they're coming out against the American people. And that, of course, is a losing prospect, as Joy Reid over at MSNBC found out.
My show had value, and that, I'm sorry, that what I was doing had value. And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV. And I think this is kind of like me on TV, so I apologize. And that it mattered.
In all of the jobs I have had, in all of the years I have been alive, there is no colleague for whom I have had more affection and more respect than Joy Reid. I love everything about her. I have learned so much from her. I have so much more to learn from her. I do not want to lose her as a colleague here at MSNBC. And personally, I think it is a bad mistake to let her walk out the door. It is not my call, and I understand that, but that's what I think. I will tell you, it is also unnerving to see that on a network where we've got two non-white hosts in primetime, both of our non-white hosts in primetime are losing their shows, as is Katie Fang on the weekend. And that feels worse than bad, no matter who replaces them. That feels indefensible, and I do not defend it.
So Joy Reid, of course, has been fired from MSNBC, and she's very unhappy because her show had value. Well, apparently not to the company, right? And I'm not going to revel in anybody losing their job necessarily, but Joy Reid was a complete and total race baiter, right? Every single talking point she had on that show was about how white people bad and Donald Trump racist and all this stuff, right? So I'm not really that sad she lost her job, although, like I said, I don't relish the idea that anyone would lose their livelihood. But at the same time, no one saw the value in your show. That's it. Okay. But then Rachel Maddow comes out, and in standard leftist fashion, when there's something she doesn't like, right? In this case, Joy Reid losing her job, right? She blames it on essentially racism, right? It's kind of veiled here, but she's saying, oh, it's kind of strange that MSNBC is getting rid of the only people of color who are the hosts in prime time, and they're all replaced with those horrible white people. So here, MSNBC is under attack by their own, all right? So Rachel Maddow gets to keep her job. Apparently, she is pulling in the numbers that they want, right? But Joy Reid, she's gone. And the only thing that could possibly explain this is the racism from the network executives, okay? So the people have spoken. Even the leftists are tuning out of the mainstream traditional media because they don't believe the lies. And they want to. They really want to believe these leftist lies, okay? But even they're saying, all right, give it to us straight, and you're not. And that, of course, is the point we're at today in American society, right? Donald Trump is rising, DOGE is popular, the American people are on the side of the Republicans, and things look very good. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me.